What up, people? My name is Lewis Lee, and that's what my mom calls me. And this is Playing in Traffic, where we do this every Thursday night. We are the place to come to talk about cars, boats, trucks, or anything you put gas in. And please tell your friends and like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. What's up, Ray?
Yep, Lewis, and I'm Ray Guarino. They call me Ray, and we just call you boss, chief.
And my wife don't say that.
Yeah, big kahuna. Well, listen, that's why we come to places like this, because us guys take care of each other.
That's true. That's true.
You know, we watch each other's back. We take care of each other.
Yep. A lot of good times here on the show.
Without a doubt.
So this week, I just wanted to see what people received for Christmas. You know, what Christmas gifts people, got for their cars or tools or, anything good.
That's always a good topic. It is always a good topic. Because, I don't know about you, but I know my wife and I, we've been together a long time. And, after a while, actually, my daughter gets more keyed into things. She'll hear me talk about something,
mm-hmm.
and then she'll buy it. I'm like, damn, I didn't mean for you to buy that.
Yeah. You're like, man, I was looking at this Mercedes.
Well, but she's good. She pays attention to stuff like that. And, my wife, I still got to give her a list, and it's all, and she claims it's always the same stuff. But meanwhile, the list I get from her is always the same stuff. And but now we got a secret inside source on this channel. That's the go-to for gifts like that, and he's down there in the lower channel. It's Matco Man Brian. I mean, you need stuff. You just tell your significant other, hey, listen, contact Brian, and this year got me a couple of things from the Matco Man. He came through again as always.
Nice.
So
nice. I've been for the last couple of years. I've been putting a list of things for the bus in Amazon. So you can create a list in Amazon, and then you can share that list to anybody.
Right.
So I shared to all my family. If you want to buy me something for my birthday or Christmas or anything like that, anniversary, whatever, just go to that list, and for sure, 100%, you're getting what I need or want.
And it is so easy because they just have to look at the list and literally click the link.
Yeah.
And just say add to cart. It couldn't be easier. It's Amazon. I tell you. No matter what people say, they got it going on, man. We should have known to buy that stock years ago because, I mean, now there's UPS drivers dropping off Amazon stuff at the house. I mean, everybody's delivering their stuff, so they got the delivery part of it. They're the El Chapos of freaking delivery. Everybody's dropping their stuff off.
Yeah. Now they have their own planes and all their own trucks.
Yeah.
I think I was telling Lewis this, a couple of years ago, that I think that he's going to incorporate Amazon into everything. He's already bought into grocery stores. He's going to end up having insurance companies because you get insurance on your packages. Well, he's going to lead that over to life insurance, to health insurance.
Sure.
Think about the shipping. He started out with United States or U.S. Postal Service. Then he went to UPS. No, he went to FedEx. So now he owns his own planes, his own trucks, his own vans. So I think he's going to end up into everything, really.
Yeah, like I said, I saw there was a UPS truck that dropped off some stuff. And you can be a private. You can do it for them. Because I've seen it. Guys will have, Amazon delivery, a magnetic stick on their door. And as a side gig, you can deliver Amazon stuff.
Yeah.
Any of us could do it. So... I mean, he really reached out. The tentacles went right down to the individual driver on the road.
Yeah.
You don't get a better business model than that. I mean, it's
unlimited. He owns the internet space. He's the biggest retailer of internet space. So when you buy like space for your website and stuff,
right,
it goes to Amazon.
Now, I remember years ago, 20 years ago, you felt safe buying on eBay because eBay would kind of stand behind stuff. You had a mediator, so to speak. Well, Amazon, I mean, without a doubt, they're now eBay won't even let you talk to the person who's selling.
Right.
They've stuck themselves in the middle, and they won't even let you ask questions of the person directly. I don't know how that is on Amazon, but Amazon, if they're a certified or guaranteed seller, you're as good as gold. If it isn't bad, it isn't good, just send it back. Amazon backs it up. They'll just credit you, or send you a new one.
Yeah,
Whatever.
they don't even play.
I've
Not
used
only
it. Yeah.
not only do you get your money back, but when you take it and drop it off at the store, as soon as they scan it, I've gotten my money before I've made it back to the car.
Yeah. Oh, and now drop off. I mean, we drop off stuff to Amazon at the UPS drop off store like all the time. But in Kohl's, they have an Amazon drop off.
Yep.
Regular department stores have Amazon. 7-Eleven and pick up. You can have it picked up at your local 7-Eleven if you want.
Yep.
It's
Crazy.
They really have. I mean, for years to come, that model is going to be used in business classes.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that's what I do with my Christmas list. I put it on Amazon and I make sure I get what I need or want. You know what I mean?
So did the family empty out the list on you or what?
They didn't empty it, but they hooked me up.
Good.
Yeah, got me stuff for the bus. Last couple of years, they got me like my faucets, sink faucets, and wire crimps, and just all kind of stuff like that. Stuff that you hate to buy, really.
Yeah.
So it worked out pretty good.
That's good. Very nice.
My brother-in-law hooked me up with some socks. Check out these socks. You're gonna like these.
You disappeared.
Where'd they go? Oh wait, hold on. I ain't gonna show my phone. Hold
on. That's totally blank.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I see a little something. Yeah, your background's interfering.
Yeah, I can't say it. You have to see it.
we thought you just redid your living room in the Ohio crib over there, but I guess not.
Yeah, this is the bus, the back of the bus.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this, and I shouldn't even open my mouth because when you got a good secret, you should keep it secret. But the Matco bamboo socks are some of the best socks. They are the best socks I've ever had on. Yeah, and and for some reason, like I found that I have enough of them. The white ones, I noticed that there was almost two different versions where one was a little softer than the other, and now I got a couple pair of black ones, and the black ones are the best. They just seem to just pull on so easy, and they resist. They wick your sweat and everything. They're really unbelievable, super comfortable socks.
All right, I'm gonna check them out. I have to order them a pair.
Yeah. So
hey,
my
Brian,
wife,
do they have them in 15s?
I don't know about that. You got to have to talk to Brian. Speaking of socks, though, my wife she gave me 2 pair of socks, and she got them on, I don't know where she saw them. Maybe it was Etsy, but they were like GTO socks, right? So, but the funny thing was they had the word, the GTO, and then the Pontiac. It was like you had to stand with your 2 feet next to each other for the word to be right because they was split it between the 2 socks. Like, how stupid is that? Like, this wasn't real top shelf stuff here. This was, like a last minute afterthought.
That's funny.
Okay, all right, whatever.
All right, let's get the fellas in and see what they got for Christmas. Let's see.
Hey guys,
there he is, Tom McCann himself.
I like the toy box he's got in the background too. That's perfect.
My Hot Wheels, cases.
That's the hard.
I got a few cases sitting here.
Wow.
They, I meant to put a little note in for Jen to she could stockpile the socks for herself.
Yeah, they were good. They just handed me the bag and then said, from Matco Band. I was like, what? What's this? I was like, man, I gotta make room in the sock drawer here.
Yeah,
they are the best.
Even the I think I know you normally want the work boot ones, but I think even the ankle ones are super comfortable.
Yes. without a doubt. Now I'm wearing a pair now that are the ankle ones, but you had some shorter ones in. My wife says, "Wow, you never wear the real short ones because you always make fun of guys who wear these."
Yeah, those are super comfortable. You'd be surprised.
You know what? I believe you, and I'll find out as soon as the weather gets when the weather gets nicer. Because
I wear those year round.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're very.
Yeah.
And then I figured, well, I said I'll throw in a couple pairs and a handful of hats, and maybe Jen can save a few pair. And I guess she gave them all up.
She did. She just said, "Hey, here you go, Dad. Here's the loot."
My girls steal all my socks, so
Right. We're at the point now where I'm handing her down some of my the cooler T-shirts I have that I haven't been able to wear in years that are way too small on me. So she's wearing these vintage T-shirts that people are paying a lot of money for, And I said, "Here, have at it, kid. She got some cool stuff."
Brianna got into my I have some, she's got a whole bunch of my vintage T-shirts, and I got a lot, and it's actually kind of funny because I have a few older Mako ones, and she gets asked a couple times like, "Hey, can your dad get me one of these, or can you get that?" And I'm like, "Man, those things are like 20 years old. You're not going to find them anymore."
Meanwhile, my daughter's walking around with Frisco choppers,
and
an SU carburetor shirt from the 70s. It's
the
real old biker shirts.
The classic hooker headers.
Yeah. She's wearing a Bronco shirt that I got. Yeah, she's the whole 9 yards. Yeah. Well, all that stuff is fashionable now, and people pay a lot of money. But we probably all have them. My wife got me a shirt. I have a shirt from somewhere, and it's just, even though it says it's your size, the way that they cut things for bodies in China and sell it to America, they don't fit us. Everything is tight under the arm, the neck is weird. Yeah, right. Jim, you've had that happen. Nothing. Yep. It never fits right. Never.
That's why you have the sleeveless T-shirts.
Actually, well, I'm going to tell you the truth. Actually, I have a drawer in my armoire that's nothing but I have the tool T-shirts and some car T-shirts in there, and I grabbed a black Matco shirt the other day. It's one of my favorites. Just has Matco tools in red, looks like red neon, and it has a blown engine on the back.
Yeah,
I love it. But I put it on. I'm like, damn, is this the wrong size? So I checked later. I thought maybe it was a smaller size. I'd given my wife. So that's what happens. We have the same shirts, and she'll grab mine sometimes. So I got to switch them back after the laundry. But I said no, it was my size. I said, okay, this spring that thing's losing its sleeves, and it's going to get a cut neck. Become a summer shirt.
Right. What's up, Paul?
Hang the T-shirt up in your garage.
Oh God, there's not an inch of space in my garage, Paul. You kidding me? I couldn't hang a matchbook in my garage.
Well, then it's not built efficient.
Yeah, I gotta wait till I move and get a bigger garage. Yeah. What do you guys do with your old T-shirts? Yeah, you wear them till they're gone? Because I got some shirts that are brand new that I just can't wear anymore. It sucks.
Yeah, I wear mine until my wife tells me it got too many holes in it.
Yeah.
I vacuum seal them down, in those vacuum packs, and they're sitting in my storage unit.
Nice.
I
pulled another 10, maybe 12 shirts off to the side to hang up in the garage. Keep continuing down the wall with another 10 or 12.
Yeah, that's good when you have the space to do that. Yeah.
I call it retiring. Retire.
That's a good idea. No, because that's a good idea. Because some shirts are really pretty cool.
Yep.
My favorite of all shirts, and I must have worn this thing. I wore this thing all through high school. It had to have been almost every day, but it was a Shelby GT350 work shirt, and it had the address from the California, the first.
Oh, wow.
Place, the first warehouse that he had. And, man, I had two of them. And They were blue, and I don't know. My mom had found one, but it was the GT 500, and that one was red, and I could just never get into wearing that one. You know, that one still looks mint. You know, that I just, but I'll never forget the night that I threw the drive shaft out of the Mustang, and we were underneath of it, putting it back together, laying in a 90 weight. And that poor shirt, I couldn't get the smell out, and I have it in a Ziploc bag, sealed.
Oh, geez.
And every time I bring it out, it's like the smell of 90 weight.
Oh,
and I soaked it. I wore. I mean, it was terrible.
Every fiber of every thread.
Yeah, and every once in a while it comes across like, why do we still have this? And I'm like, I will never get rid of this. And every time I try to find one, it's either got the Las Vegas ad, you know, it doesn't have the California one. And of course, you know, I can't even get one arm or put my head through it anymore. But you know, it's like, it's so funny how that thing still smells like 90 weight.
Oh, yeah. After
all these years.
Yeah.
Sitting on the side of the road, it's up there, and we used to hang out at this. What was it? One of those kiss and ride, you know, where you dropped off to catch the metro, and it was tucked back in a corner. And we were doing hole shots one night, and Mr. Drive Shaft went across the parking lot. And
29.
Huh?
29 and 216.
No, it was Georgia Avenue and 28.
Yeah.
Up past Leisure World, back there in that corner.
Yeah.
That was a great place, man. Had trees all around it. Nobody, as long as you weren't too loud, nobody knew. There was nothing out there, dude, back then. That was a great place to park. Those were the days.
Yeah. So listen, guys, I talked to a couple entertainers, and what I decided to do is whenever they are free, I'm going to try to get them on the show instead of locking it on just Thursday nights. So it's still, I'm thinking still 9 o'clock, but it might be a random, you know, day.
Uh-huh.
So we'll you know, try to get, because a lot of people I talk to, I just can't get the right times. So I figured I'm just going to throw them on whenever.
So let me throw this out there. The scenario is so-and-so says, Lewis, I'm available on Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells you this on Sunday. Is that enough notice to throw something together?
Yep. I can do it the same day, but you know, this year I'm going to try to do it a week ahead, so I can advertise a little more. You know, get it out, let people know that you know who's going to be on. That's what I'm going to try to do, but you know how that works.
I tell you something funny about scheduling, because I've been dealing with this a long time with my show, and I always tried to give people plenty of lead, and the more lead I gave them, the worse it got, because they forget and other things come up. So I started shortening it down. It's to the point now that when I get Carl Anthony on, I send him a text like Saturday night. Hey, Carl, what are you doing tomorrow? Are you free?
I do the same thing.
and last time I tried to get him, I gave him like, it was like a week advance. And he was like, oh, he actually had something to do the following week. So it was like, you know, I mean, I wouldn't recommend that with everybody, but
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so a couple days ahead it worked.
You think about time shifting? Record the interview and then try and edit it and put it on Thursdays at 9?
Yeah, I could do that as well. Maybe and here's another thing I was thinking about doing is start taking some. I have to do some editing anyway, so when I do an edit on a video, I think I'm going to start running them like we're running this now, but just run it random during the day. You know what I mean? So people can watch it at any time.
Yeah, you can try it and see how it flies.
Yeah, I'm gonna try a couple different things, see how it works.
It's a bit more production work, though. That's the only thing.
You won't have the group interaction, but
Right,
The
right.
interview is, the interview is kind of it's important.
Yeah, well, I want to get it where more more people know we're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I start putting these out, replays during the day or doing, at just random times, I think that might help too.
Yeah. Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm putting my toes in the water this year.
Sure.
That's my goal.
Okay.
Yeah, you just gotta, because like you said, if you get it out there, I mean, I watch stuff, at different times
Hmm.
because it's just convenient for me, or it's my time where I can. So maybe we can pick up more people that way.
Yeah.
I know with you just playing the interviews after they've had, it's a situation off to the side on the workbench or sitting in the or the car, and you could be listening to while working, listening to the show while driving.
Right.
You don't necessarily need the visual interaction.
Well, that's why we have on YouTube. You can go to YouTube podcast, and you can listen to it through that.
Okay.
Yep. Now I'm also going to put it. I have it on Apple or iTunes, and where else? I got it somewhere else too, Stitcher. But I haven't uploaded any in a long time. That's another thing this year. I'm going to try to continuously put all the shows on.
Yeah, I find I've been putting my stuff on YouTube, and if I don't do it the day that I do everything else on Sunday afternoon, it's like I forget about it. So you got to just kind of be regimented and just do it right away.
Yeah, I think I'm going to set my Sundays for that, for doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because if not, I'll be, running wild.
Because the next thing you know, it's Thursday again.
Yeah,
and that's what happens to me. It's like, damn, the week is gone, and it's like, well,
year gone. Where's the last year gone? It's just snapped past us.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
fast.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Jim.
It's no joke, man. It really blew by.
Well, I got to say, I agree with that. I have been having fun. So, yeah, it did fly. But at least it flew when I was having fun.
Yeah.
There's plenty of times it flew when I was having a hell of a time. So, count my blessings.
We were talking about Christmas presents, and I do have a Christmas miracle to report. I actually bought my wife a gift from Harbor Freight.
No fooling.
And she liked it.
What is it?
Miracle.
A rechargeable flashlight.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because I go to bed a lot earlier than she does, so she likes to have a flashlight with her. And I had one of these little flashlights you buy, but they're batteries.
Mm-hmm.
So like every month or so, I got to put new batteries. I'm like, this is a pain in the butt. And she was like, give me a surprise. I don't know, whatever. I'm like, really? So I was like, wait a minute, what did I do? I'm going to buy one of those rechargeable flashlights. I'm going to get it from Harbor Freight. This way I can have my Christmas miracle. And sure enough, it worked.
Well, I'll tell you, speaking of that, I was, I got a couple lights this year now from good old Brian. I won't turn these things on because they'll blind all of us, but my wife and daughter were trying to figure out just how to use it. They couldn't figure out how to use the damn thing. It's like, how do you do it? I was like, don't stare at it while you're pushing things. I said, you'll go blind.
The other one that I threw in there, Ray, that's our newest one, and I'm selling those hands over fists, man. Those things are going quick.
This one?
Yeah.
This is a nice light. This is a nice light.
I like the magnet base on it.
Yeah. It does have the magnet base, which is nice. Go again. It took me a while to figure out that you have to close it to get the end to work.
Yeah, it has the end light.
And I kind of like, oh yeah, that thing is still doing that.
All right, who's watching TV?
Pop
yeah, the
Squirrel.
base is cool. That base is kind of cool. It kind of reminded me, Brian, of the Fold.
Yeah.
It's not as wide. So I like the way that Fold feels in your hand too. It's got a nice, it's Feels
Well,
like
that Streamlight one's far better. I mean, that's a difference. I mean, the orange light there is an $89 light, and the Streamlight one's a $200 light.
Right.
And I mean, you could feel a difference in the base and everything, and the
Yeah, this one has the hook on it, and I've always had trouble with hooks, but we'll see how that lasts.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I've been using the easy lights,
easy red lights.
easy red lights, man. I love them.
Yeah, I got a couple of those too, but this one has the UV, which is cool.
That is nice.
Yeah, and it's light. It's nice and light. But this one, that's why I wanted this one, because this one has UV also
Nice.
on the end.
Yeah.
So if we want to do
You can never have too much light.
no, you can't. You really can't.
But like I said, you can see the difference in the two different lights though on the Streamlight.
Well, you
With
know,
the color match, the natural light and the regular light.
we were talking about that. Yeah, I mean, if you asked me, I'd say the Macro light, these lights, they're more substantial. They feel more robust in your hand. The Streamlight is a little more frail. It's smaller. It's a smaller feel. So, but I say don't let that fool you.
No, that's the Streamlights. I don't have any. I prefer those out of anything because I don't have any problems with those lights. Those lights are, and I can fix them on the truck. They sell parts.
What breaks on them? What do people do to them?
Well, the flip ones those are pretty new. I haven't had any problem, but I'm talking about the regular flashlight. I changed over the LED heads in them. And other than the only thing that wears out is the switch. The switch goes from just clicking on and off 10,000 times a day.
Yeah.
So, but I could fix those on the truck, send in the parts, get reimbursed, and nobody's down anytime. The other lights I gotta send in, wait for exchange.
I'm thinking I'm going to build like a charging bank for all these lights.
Yeah, I was just thinking that in the bus, I think I'm gonna build a drawer that has all the charging cables and stuff.
Because like I said, I have the easy red lights too, which I like. It's just in the beginning I had I have one, and I said, okay, now I'll get to use it, I'll get to know it, and and then before you know it, they just show up out of nowhere. Next thing you know, you got 8 lights.
Now, do you have the easy red light? It looks like a camera.
No, I don't. That one I don't have.
Okay, that thing's incredible.
I have the stick lights that you hold, and then I have the one for your head.
Yeah. So the one that looks like a camera, it has a magnet base, but the base moves where you can adjust the light.
Right.
But it has a couple different brightness. But man, I use it all the time. I stick it everywhere, and it really lights up.
That's my. That's probably my number one seller. For because you could use it as a hood light because it's got you can spin the lens and it could go from point to flood.
Yeah. I use it a lot.
Yeah. And
what's nice is I put those plugs in the bus that have the USB plugs in it.
Right.
The receptacles. So I have it on the fuse box, and I got it plugged in charging every time I go in the bus.
Yeah. Now that's a question. I know at the shop we had a couple of LED lights, and my buddy, he just every time we were done at the end of the day, you just plug that light in and leave it. So he always left them on the charger. Even when they were fully charged, he left them there.
Yeah, it really shouldn't. But
I always wondered if that was a good idea or not. I mean, in the shop it's nice because at the end of the day, if you were using it, you plug it in, you go home.
Yeah.
They say, and the majority of them say that they turn off. They will not overcharge.
Okay.
But I've seen where that they have that problem.
Really?
I mean that can break, or that something that can go bad, and it will overcharge. Now the LED batteries are a little different from the Nike batteries because they they don't get that false full charge like the night batteries do, the lithium, and the other batteries. But the only problem is, and this is the only problem against any of the higher lines like the Streamlights, they only those, and even Milwaukee are cordless, Arobi, all those batteries have a charge cycle time. They will only take 2,000 charges or whatever, and when you leave them on there, that's counting. Or even if it's not a full charge, it's a counting process, and you will go through a battery faster than
Okay. But
instead of letting it going down, because it has a cycle charge or a counter, and it will go through.
so now the thing that becomes even more critical is in a shop. Like these lights on high usually have like a 4-hour life.
Right.
I mean, on low, they're less. So, you got to have one in reserve. Like now you got to like stagger your charging. So you always have, it's a lot of work, man. You know what? That's why at the shop, I bought it at Harbor Freight. It's a corded LED drop light. It's pretty damn good. I have one at home too. I liked it so much. I got one for home, and I keep it in my toolbox so nobody else can like use it and break it. But I'll use that. At least now I know I have light, because as long as it's an outlet, I got light, and I don't mind
the newest thing, and a lot of lights now has motion detector. So if it sits for so long, it will turn off, and then it will. And then when you come back, you'll sense and come back on.
Oh, wow.
And I've actually had a few guys that have gotten it, and of course, during our trying to draw out stick figures and trying to make them understand, they'll say, "Hey, this light turned off," because they walked away from it, and I guess they're in view and they see it turn off,
right?
And they say there's something wrong with it. And I said, no. Here, see over here, it's got a motion sensor. You can turn that off and it'll stay on, but this is supposed to save the battery. So that's the newest thing with a lot of the battery lights now, that they turn on and off.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's
because you could get out like in the shop, especially. You could be called away. You got to help a guy in another bay. You got to go up into the office, or you got to go outside, or you
go for a road test. Somebody pulls inside, and next thing you know, you think it's 5 minutes, but it could be 2 hours later.
Right. Yeah,
that's a good idea, because I always leave my lights on. Come back like,
See, and I'm fanatical about shutting them off. Like if I'm working under the dash, let's say, and I got to get out to go get another tool, I'll shut it off and get out and come back and turn it back on again.
Yeah.
I guess I'm so keyed up that I don't want a battery going dead on me in the middle of something.
Yeah.
Well, what happens with me is I cut the light on, and I get used to the light being on, not thinking that it's the light. I just think, I can see. You know what I mean? So then I get out, leave, come back, and it's dead.
Yeah.
We got a few lights that have 2,000 lumens. It's on high. It's like I call it the sun. And it's always funny because those guys get it, and then the next week they say, "Man, this light only stayed bright for an hour," and I was like, "Well, runtime on 2,000 lumens is like 45 minutes." And I said, you can't have, it's not going to stay. You can't just leave it and walk away and expect it to be there on all day like that.
Yeah, I got to say, the Streamlight is 500 lumens, and that gets to be a numbers game. Everybody wants more, but 500 lumens on a light like that is pretty damn intense in a closed space. It really is.
Problem is, all these lamps, you don't produce any heat off of it. Them old school halogen work lamps,
burn you.
They produced heat, and you see a couple of halogen work lamps around you as you're working underneath the hood, pointing at you. You get a sunburn in January.
The heat here is in the handle. You run it long enough, and you'll feel that battery getting warm, just like the cell phone.
Yeah,
you'll feel that getting warm. So.
Yeah, they had Streamlight has one. It's 2,000 lumens, and I had guys that would have it on high, and they would set they would set it down, on the lens down so that the light is on, but it's on the table, and it will actually melt the glass lens.
Yeah. This one's $850.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did find, Brian, that little one I was telling you about that I confessed that I
Yep.
seemingly thought I lost. I said, I don't lose shit. So,
and it showed up in the kitchen drawer in the house.
no, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to make sure that these lights had a fresh top charge on them. So I said, you know what? I'll use one of my jump pack batteries. I got 2 of them.
Oh yeah.
And I opened up the jump pack battery, and what was in there? That's where the light was. It was because I took it with me when I went to look at a car, and I just stuck it in the pouch. So it didn't come back home.
Well, that's good.
I knew it. I just didn't know where it was. Yeah, that was ticking me off.
Yeah, I had a couple guys today. They came out and they said the light I bought last week I already lost.
Really?
So you need another one? And they said, no, I'm not buying any more lights. And I said, all right, yeah. Next year you'll buy one.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. As soon as they can't see.
I mean, the only way I think you're gonna lose it in shops if you leave it on a car.
Well, that's what happens. Well, that guy, it was funny because he had lost one the week before, and he goes, I want one. He goes, I want a light with no magnet. And I was like, you want a light with no magnet? He goes, yeah, because I stick it to the car and I forget it and it drives off. And I said, okay, so I want to get you one without a magnet. So I get him one without a magnet. He takes it, and then he comes out today. I lost that light. And I said, well, I had no magnet. What happened? He said, I guess I set it on the ground and somebody either picked it up or I set it in the car or whatever, and it still disappeared.
Well, this light has a clip on it.
Yeah.
So you can clip this onto your pocket or your belt, I guess. That's one way of going.
But those I don't have the new little keychain one right now. I'm also selling a lot of those. That's I don't have one down here. It's out on a truck.
Yeah, I remember 30 years ago my mom came up with something. It was like a little fob. You put your house key in it and you'd squeeze it. They gave you one little bulb, little. I don't think it must have been a bulb. It probably wasn't an LED, but it was just enough to let that key see the lock for the door, I'm like, yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, lights are a big industry. I mean, you look everywhere, there's nothing but, you're flooded with light choices.
Yeah, I can't believe I probably I try not to go down that rabbit hole, but I could probably have 50 different lights on the truck and still not have what somebody wants.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy with lights.
I got lights from Summit. Those light bars that they put on Jeeps and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I got one for the front and one for the back, and I'm scared to put them on right now because here's somebody gonna steal them.
Yeah.
I thought it was safe in Ohio. You didn't have to worry about that stuff.
Huh?
I thought it was safe up there in Ohio.
Look, we're more than just a country bunking area. we got some hoodlums running around too.
I tell you something. I watched this guy on YouTube, Don's Hot Rod Garage, and he's like a 55 Tri-5 Chevy guy, but a lot of nomads. So, and he just pulled 2 more in. He bought 5 from a guy that were all pretty rough. So I actually wrote to him and said to him, Don, if you're parting that car out, I need some parts that it has. So, and he's in Ohio, but I'm not sure where, because he said he's in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
He does trucking. So, I mean, that doesn't mean jack shit, but so I actually, in an email, I said to him, I got a couple buddies up in Youngstown. I said, if it's anywhere near you, maybe we could hook up figure out a drop off or something. He didn't answer me back about that. So, I don't know if he's like staying away from me now because
he might be. We got a reputation.
Place out.
We got a reputation for sports and thuggery.
Right.
He said, "Who's this hoodlum from New York? Who's this
Right.
guy?"
Who those guys in Youngstown? Jeez.
Yeah, the hoodlum from New York's coming to meet me at Youngstown. That's,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured I might do the next Indiana trip. When I'm swinging by, we're stopping your way. We could, you know.
yeah, when you guys coming?
I don't know. My buddy Chris is corresponding with the guy in Indiana, so whenever he has the stuff painted, I guess we want to get the holidays done, and probably into the new year. You know,
Yeah.
it'd be a nice spring trip because we plan on flying out and then getting a Tahoe and driving back.
Okay, that's a good idea.
So yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely let you know what's going on because you guys are on my list. We're definitely stopping.
Yeah, you guys see Terry got 10 projects here in Ohio. So
He has been working like gangbusters on that CUDA, man. He's putting videos up like nuts.
yeah,
And he's doing a lot of hard work too, a lot of hard rust chassis stuff.
yeah.
I give him credit. It's hard work.
I tell you what, these companies, they sent some stuff, man. They sent
Yeah.
all the metal.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, you could almost build the whole car.
Right. But that type of work is just sucky. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dirty and sucky.
I guess some guys like it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of it myself. I mean, you do what you have to do, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of other stuff I'd rather be doing.
Well, I'll tell you, that car's going to be nice when it's done.
It is. Yeah.
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 Speaking of the devil, you didn't hear yet. You're probably asleep.
So, Brian, how do all the Christmas cookies come out?
Huh?
How do all the Christmas cookies come out?
Came out great.
I got a table full, man. I'm not, they make all these cookies, and I'm the only one going in there and I'm eating them. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take like 2 or 3 at a time. Like, help me out here, will you? Like,
Yeah, I finished them all off. There was nothing left.
I should send some down to you.
Yeah, I don't play around when it comes to cookies.
Yeah.
Get a half
That's my
gallon of milk.
nemesis, cookies and chips.
All right.
Yeah, cookies are terrible. And well, don't have to go into all that, but yeah, it was a tough year because I gave up so much dairy product, and man,
Did you?
cookies and water just don't cut it.
Hey,
No, but cookies and coffee do.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate. I haven't given
Right.
up the coffee, but yeah, cookies and water. I thought I was like, on Alcatraz or something, bread and water.
There was a guy I worked with. He was single. Well, he's still single. I just don't work with him anymore. This was the most frugalist guy in the world. And I mean, he would buy the store brand Cheerios. Nothing wrong with that. I never had them, but I'm sure they taste fine. In a bag, not a box. But I caught him one day, in the hallway. I'm like, what are you doing? He took the Cheerios and he went to the water cooler and he put water in them. And I'm like, dude, buy yourself a quart of milk and put it in the refrigerator. He's like, oh, no. Oh, milk's expensive. I'm like, man, you know what?
Water and Cheerios taste like hell. I've done it.
Oh, God, I wouldn't even think about it. That's how cheap this guy was.
Yeah.
I wasn't cheap. I was just out of milk and couldn't get to the store, and I was hungry.
Yeah.
There you go.
No.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yes, you do.
Hey, I might buy one of those boxes of powdered milk and keep it in the cabinet just in case.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just mix your powdered milk up twice as strong as the directions call for. That makes it thicker.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that skim milk taste that I hate in powdered milk.
Yeah, I don't like
so
that either. We're whole milk people over here.
Yes.
I'm a 2%.
Yeah.
2%.
2% isn't bad. 2% is not bad. You're right. I mean, when I was putting it in my coffee, I was a half and half guy all the way. Definitely wanted the half and half with that half cream.
So,
my
fellas,
dog-
if you see me twitching, I weaned myself off of coffee. Now I'm a tea guy.
Ah,
Oh, God, I
teetotaler.
can't do
A
tea.
teetotaler.
different.
I drink black tea, green tea every night. But what type of tea you drink? You're drinking black tea, right, Louis?
No, all different types. Chai.
Thai latte.
Yeah, I'm kind of bougie, so I had to go with the,
All right.
So I've been lemon and ginger.
All right.
I tell you what, the ginger, I'm trying to get a lot of that, and I'm actually doing real ginger root. I'm taking
Yeah,
some of that, and putting
ginger's
it in
good for
it too.
It's
Yeah.
good for
Yeah.
you.
Good for
Ginger.
digestion.
Yep, and I can tell a difference in my stomach.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, my wife is not a coffee drinker or anything, and she always gives me a hard time. But here lately, I've noticed, a Starbucks cup,
Oh God.
around,
Uh-huh.
and of course the girls live at Starbucks, so they're always running around and Jenny had the Starbucks cup, and it's over where she keeps her cup, and so I finally said something, and she's like, oh, well, Emma brought me this tea back, a tea. And I'm like, oh, tea. And then I noticed that this thing is starting. So for Christmas, I got her a $25 gift certificate to Starbucks. And she just kind of gave me that look. And I said, well, being a teetotaler now, it gets a little expensive. And she just gave me that look
that's only 2 cups of tea, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a $50 card.
Yeah.
I said, I don't, support your bad habit here.
See, my wife, she was the coffee drinker. I never really drank coffee, so I
That's
started
how I
drinking it with her, and then she quit, got me hooked on it, and then she jumped off.
That's kind of how it was in my house for years. My wife always had a coffee pot going, and I never drank it. I would drink tea early on, and then I guess she kind of stopped, and I picked it up, and we did the same thing. We switched, but now she's back with it again. Now I just busted out the espresso machine the other day, so I'm making me some Cafe Bustelo, and I'm steaming up the milk to make it a little little cappuccino-ish. I got to buy a better machine. I'm in the market I want to buy a good machine.
Hey Ray, you know that's kind of bougie, right?
I know it is, yeah.
They
Well, listen,
Molly.
Just because I got friends in Youngstown, don't mean I can't be a little bougie too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
When Molly was over for Christmas, she was over there, and she's all the girls are the same way. You can tell when they've had too much caffeine or sugar because you can see the eye flicker, the eye rapid eye movement, And I looked over at her and I said, "You all right?" And she goes, "Nick, that's her boyfriend, got me an espresso machine, and I had 3 before coming over here."
Oh God.
I'll tell you something. The kind of the pattern we've been in is I let my wife get up before me in the morning. Let her go use the bathroom, go do your thing, clear out, and then, because I'm on a path. I need 10 minutes, to get cleaned up, take a shower, and I'm done. And, and then Leave It to Beaver's coming on at 8. So I got my schedule. So she'll be up before me, and she'll already make coffee. And there's days I'll sit down now. I take a little while to warm up in the morning. I'm like an old V8. It takes me a while. And I'll be sitting there reading the paper and watching the TV and sip my coffee. And sometimes she'll just start going like, I was like, you didn't make decaf today, did you? I don't know. How do you know? I'm like, you're drinking regular coffee. I said, listen, we're just starting the day. I said, I'm not going to make it 10 minutes if you don't go drink some water or something. Flush that shit out of your system.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. Some people just, now I can drink coffee tonight. I could drink it after the show and go to bed. I can just, it doesn't do it to me.
Yeah.
But if my blood sugar drops, now I know what people feel like when they have too much coffee, because I get jittery as hell. I get, I got to get some eat a chocolate bar or something.
Yeah, people look, they'll see me, and like I said, I'll have during intermission, I'll run up and refill, and they all say, "How can you?" And I'll lay right down and go to sleep. Never.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother me.
So
I've always had a cup of coffee to go to bed. It's a good nightcap.
Yeah.
Better than drinking.
Hold up. I don't know about that one.
Little grandpa's cough syrup in there,
Don't know if it's worse. I don't know if it's better. I haven't really done too much of either. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I'll wake up in the middle of the night, smoke a cigarette, drink Coca-Cola, and go right back to sleep.
There you go. That's good for your breath and your teeth.
Yes. Definitely my teeth. You know, I keep them in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
I haven't unpacked them since the move yet.
You'll find them. It's all right. Yeah. We had growing up, there was a guy, we were teenagers, and we used to hang out this one industrial block of town. It was all junkyards and then a restaurant at the end. But there was a guy there, we called him Pepsi Pete, because Pepsi Pete was a trucker. He was from, I think, Arkansas. He was about 115 pounds. He looked like Roland LeBay from Christine. That's who Pepsi Pete looked like. And he would get, now this is back in the 70s. He built a shed off the side of his house, and he would get Pepsi Cola in the 16-ounce bottles in those wooden, the wooden crates delivered by the skid. So he'd have like 3 rows, 20 tall. You never saw him without a Pepsi in his hand. Hence the name Pepsi Pete. So yeah, it was just crazy. I mean, they say it strips the paint off of cars, and I guess some guys can go through life and not have their intestines burn out. But I wonder, like, if it strips the paint off of cars, what's it doing to your stomach lining?
I used to be like Paul there.
Really?
I would drink Coke. It was no problem. I'd have 20, 25 sodas a day.
You know what slowed me down? When I was in my heavy drinking years out in the bars and all, and Jack and Coke, and it got to the point where the Coke got me. It was like too much sugar. So now I've learned to drink 3 fingers on ice of just
Jack and Jack. Oh, one Coke, Jack and Jack. That's what.
No, now I'll drink 3 fingers of a good bourbon over on the rocks, and just like sip it. So I got a small batch bourbon out of Brooklyn, a Brooklyn distillery. They were doing a thing at a local wine store, and they had the guy set up. So he says, "Oh, they make rye and bourbon." I said, "Well, I like both of those. I drink both." He goes, "You want to try some?" I'm like, "All right." And I didn't look at my watch. I'm like, I'm telling myself it's either 10:30 or 11 in the morning, and here I am shooting bourbon and rye. I was like, okay. So I bought a bottle of it. I said, I'll buy one. I'll take one. I'm almost just about done with it today. So
yeah,
small batch stuff is pretty good.
About 20 years ago, I decided if I'm going to drink whiskey, I'm going to drink it on the rocks, because I used to, Coca-Cola and Pepsi and 7-Up and all this other stuff.
Right.
I thought that covers up the taste of the whiskey too much. If I'm going to get drunk, I want to know what I'm drunk on.
Well, I don't drink to get drunk anymore.
Oh no, I don't either.
Those days are over. But yeah, I will drink it on the rocks. But you got to find what you like. I was never a Scotch drinker. I still can't. It just locks up. It's like what nitro does to me. It just locks the back of my throat up. But bourbon or a good rye, yeah, especially a good bourbon. Yeah, it's I can do that. And of course, I got to have my cigar with it. So.
Oh yeah.
The cigar doesn't taste right unless you're drinking straight whiskey.
All right,
that looks dangerous, Paul, especially with a label like that.
I found this. I went to go. I'm a Grey Goose. Pretty much the only one I prefer to drink is Grey Goose. There's some other
that's good stuff.
Mid upper shelf vodkas I like, but I went to the liquor store a couple weeks ago. And yeah, it was a couple weeks ago because almost half the bottle's gone now. And this is a local distillery somewhere in Texas Hill Country.
I think Tito's is from Texas.
Tito's is from Texas as well, and Tito's is just so overrated. To me, it's trash vodka. Ew. Tito's.
Yeah, I had it once or twice. I wasn't really impressed, but yeah. I'll tell you, I went to a friend's house one year for New Year's Eve. Good friend of mine. And he says, okay, hey, you want to have a drink? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go. He goes, I got a really good vodka. I'm like, okay. I said, tonic, squeeze a lime. He goes, no. You got to drink this stuff straight. I was like, oh shit, we just got to this party. Now I'm going to be drinking straight vodka. I'm like, oh boy. I said, all right. I said, just give me a couple fingers, on the rock. And what he gave me, I sipped that vodka, and I looked at him and I said, this is the first vodka I've ever tasted. What is it? And it was Grey Goose. And I said, man, this is good stuff. I'd been a Stoli guy up to that point.
Grey Goose, no aftertaste. Grey Goose is just dangerous.
Yeah, it is. And Stoli was my dangerous vodka before that. So
again, all alcohol, it's going to have the flavor of the water that you use, and that's why Tennessee bourbon is so good. It's from the water in Tennessee.
Yeah.
The spring water. This comes out of an artesian spring in Dripping Springs, Texas. So it's apparently a really good spring that hasn't been contaminated by the oil industry yet.
No, that's good. You find something like that, you stick with it. Yeah.
I was reading in the history of the Civil War, and it talked about it took both the North and South twice as long to go through. I think it was Kentucky, where they had all the stills during the thing, because they were all fighting to see who was going to get the still.
Oh.
Well, that's it. Like Jack Daniels is distilled in Tennessee, but the thing is, it's dry county, where it's distilled, so you can't buy it there. I mean, now you can buy moonshine, but yeah.
I've never understood a dry county because, damn it, if you're going to make something and people are going to drink it, just get your money out of it.
Right.
Well, that's sort of like I'm the grow tobacco, but they won't tobacco. They'll grow tobacco.
Yeah.
You broke up, Paul. We couldn't hear what you said.
The Amish
Amish?
will grow tobacco and sell tobacco, but they will not.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, that's their choice. They want to, grow a crop and sell it for profit. Fine, go ahead. That's cool. I got no problem with that.
Probably the best tobacco too.
Yeah, right. And they don't even know it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Is everybody working on anything good this week?
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
I gotta go bleed the brakes on guy who owns the shop. He's got a Tahoe, not a Tahoe. He's got an Avalanche, and I did the whole front suspension on that thing, and then I did calipers and rotors and bled the brakes. Thank you. But this is pick this up. He had a problem with his with the ABS. It was actuating when every time we had the wheel turned, he'd get an ABS actuation. So he thought it was a bad wheel sensor.
Mm.
So he changed the sensors. It didn't do anything. So, and now he thinks it needs a bleed. So I'm going to see if I can do a computer bleed on it, which is when you use the scanner. You put the scanner on and you follow the prompts, and it'll actually, it'll tell you keep your foot on the brake, and it'll pulse the ABS module. And
Oh, yeah?
and I asked about this. I said, well, if you're not opening the bleeders, how's it bleed? How's it an ABS bleed? And what I was told was it's taking any air that's trapped in the ABS lines and pulverizing it and smashing it down into much, much smaller bubbles that can disperse and rise. And then I think most times you do follow with a regular bleed. So I gotta look at that maybe Saturday.
That sounds like voodoo, man. Be careful with that.
That's how new cars are, Papa Squirrel. That's how you got to do it with the ABS.
I understand that. So far, I haven't had to touch an ABS.
Yeah, if you look at the ABS lines, especially coming out of the modulator, there's so many of them, and they all have 90-degree bends in them, 90-degree turns, and that's a spot for air to get stuck.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think
Paul.
we've got.
Oh, go ahead, Papa Squirrel.
No, I'll talk after Paul finishes.
Paul,
Oh,
you got any OBS trucks down there with no motor and training?
What do you need?
Chevy OBS,
Which OBS?
like not old school or no old body style.
No. That place that I'm employed, there is nothing there older than say like 2010,
Really?
2008. No. And it's funny because we had a guy come in today. He was driving up the highway. He was coming from somewhere in Texas, going back north. Saw a salvage yard on the side of the road in Texas that you can tell has been there for many years. And he walks in. He's looking for headlamp bezels for a '77 Mercury Capri or something like that. And we're like, man, this yard hasn't seen a '77 Mercury Capri since '87.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing sticks. This is one of those yards where everything is disassembled and then it's sent to the crusher and destroyed. So what's left behind is engines, transmissions, transfer cases, rear ends,
Yeah.
wheels. That's what's left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Cars are stripped, and then the scrap metal. Apparently, the scrap industry is really big in Texas.
It's
Really?
big here in Ohio too.
Well, I understand Ohio. Up north, Pennsylvania, Ohio, that is steel country.
Yeah.
So I can see where Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Bethlehem Steel had all those steel smelting plants. This is the ideal place to have the steel recycling and the aluminum recycling.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe we're sending the shit up to you. I don't know. But it's nothing.
Maybe.
Nothing sits here unless it's in a farmer's field, and you don't get that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they could put a recycling plant anywhere, really. The business is,
Yeah. They pop up. Yep.
you can put it wherever you want, really. It's just, yeah. And maybe in Texas would be a good place because of so much land.
Well, there's some salvage recycling places, and I guess it's one of them where like we send all the crushed cars to.
Yeah.
If you can see it from the highway, and if you're passing it on the highway, you're going to drive for a mile to a mile and a half, and this yard is going to be off to your right.
Wow, that's big. That's big.
It is big, and it's just piles of shredded metal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there used to be a market. It was a sale item, and now it became not so much anymore. So everything goes up and down, and it's what the politicians do. They play around with the market, and are we selling to China? Are we not selling to China? I remember when they used to buy. Well, they'll still buy batteries, but when they used to buy the waste oil and the tires, and now you got to pay to have the stuff hauled away. So
When the stock market's up, scrap is down. When the market's down, scrap is up. That's when you sell.
Yeah.
That's how it usually goes. That's when I call my scrap metal guy. When the market's all down low, I tell him to come by and pick up. He always wants to pick up everything. I only give him a little at a time because I know the market's going to change.
yeah.
Give them a little
I know.
taste.
Yeah.
I know the Chinese used to buy a lot of scrap metal from us because I was talking to some guy said they used to ship containers back to China.
Oh yeah.
They were empty, except they were full of scrap metal.
Well, we
It
were
was
just
never
saying,
empty.
the new line of cars were like our old cans and razor blades, and they'd recycle, make metal out of them.
Well,
Yeah.
the whole automotive industry has changed because in say 1980, and you were driving a 1970 Malibu station wagon, and you needed headlight bezels for it, you could go to the salvage yard and get headlight bezels for a 70 Malibu station wagon. You can't do that anymore.
No.
How many salvage yards are still in Montgomery County?
None. Very little, because they started taxing the hell out of it. You couldn't have a car over X a year. You had to have a title. If you didn't have any paperwork on it, it had to go. I mean,
Yeah, they did that here too in Ohio.
20 years ago, how many salvage yards was in Montgomery County?
Man, you could throw a rock and hit 3 of them. It's amazing. And they wanted to clean all that stuff up. If the car was so old, you had to get rid of it. You couldn't keep it.
So
Nope.
all those places that were along Goody Drive.
Yep. There's only one. I think there's only one still there.
Okay. One guy survived.
Yep.
One holdout survived. On Route 1, from the district line to Baltimore, 30 years ago, how many junkyards did you see?
There was a lot.
From the district line to Baltimore on Route 1 today, is there even one?
I think that's that one company bought up like 3 of them and put them together. I don't know. I can't remember what the name of it is, but there's not that many around. I mean, there's not that many around anymore. I'd like to know if the one still up in Cave Town is still around off of what was that? It was on both sides of the road. That was a cool junkyard. Yeah. They had all the old they had military half tracks that used to be out of West Virginia snowplows.
Yeah.
That was a fun junkyard. That was our first date. That was the first date with the wife. I come rolling up in the Scout. They had this huge willow tree up there, and underneath the willow tree was all the Scouts and Internationals that were in there. And I'd go up there and get parts for my Scout. So I told Jenny, I'd come by, and this was on a Saturday or whatever, Saturday. I said, I'll come by and pick you up and we'll go out. And she said, okay. So I come rolling down the street in the Scout, took the top off, threw it in the front yard. She comes out, and I said, you're a little dressed up. You might want to down dress a little bit. Put a pair of jeans on and a T-shirt. She looked at me like I had lost my mind. First of all, in that ugly in the Scout, we get up there, and that was like, I don't know, hour and a half drive, 2-hour drive, I guess. Man, we just drove off into the sunset. We roll up into this junkyard. She looked at me, and I said, yeah, we're here to get a transfer case for the Scout. And she looked at me like I had lost my mind. But we had a great time climbing around on all those half tracks and running through the junkyard. So went home, dropped her off, and I said, I guess I need to take you to dinner now or something like that. And she said, you take me up here all day, never fed me, never did anything. And we played around in a junkyard all day. I said, this is what you're getting, baby. So.
Well, I liked it.
No pussy is better than no pussy. Are you tired of being lonely? Willing to meet older women who want
Throw them in the junkyard.
Okay. All right, guys, time for me to bail.
See you later.
Hi, Jim.
All right, test out that rechargeable light there. Wink, wink.
Oh, I do have to show. I want to show you guys one thing because we were talking about Christmas presents. I do like reading. I don't read it as nearly as much, but you guys have to tell me. Do you think this book is political?
I can't read them.
I read one.
Oh,
Jim,
yeah.
I have one just like that.
Yeah.
It's somewhere, and it's pretty much just like to the point, except
Jim,
it
hold that up
worse.
again.
What book is
Yeah, it's Mark Levin,
Mark Levin.
Levin, yeah.
Ah, yes.
and yeah, he's right.
I think I'm going to get the audio book.
I think I have almost all of Mark's books. He's a really good writer. I mean, all of his other books are just great. You have to read them though because he writes them like he is a lawyer. He writes them like a lawyer. Like half the book in the back is all the footnotes. It's like this is where I got this is where I got that. I mean, he's a really good reader. He's a really good author. Really good. I mean, you ever listen to him on the radio? He's very good person to listen on the radio.
Yeah, he is good.
Live has too, which
Radio.
is great. He's also a brilliant constitutional lawyer.
Yeah, I listen to his books through when I'm driving through my earpiece. So I'll probably get the audiobook of that one.
All right, fellas, I'm going to call it a night too.
All righty, Paul.
All right, guys, appreciate you.
Okay, good night.
All right.
talk to you
Happy
later.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Can't wait.
Hey, so I'm on eBay right now looking for a wood steering wheel for the bus because I was watching YouTube today, not YouTube, Instagram, and a girl popped up driving a semi. She was racing it, shifting hard, and she had a real nice steering wheel, man. So now I gotta
Just
get
go to that truck stop off the interstate there. They
Yeah.
probably got one.
yeah, Truck World.
Yeah.
Man, these are nice. They're only like $160. Not that I want to pay that, but I'll be looking pretty fancy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got to get one of those wheel helpers. What do you call those things?
Steering knobs.
Yeah.
The speed turner.
Well,
The,
this girl on
knuckle
hers,
buster.
it looked like a cylinder from a gun. It had the bullets in it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I got to find that.
Just
Yeah,
make
there's
sure
a
you-
company. What's that thing called? Magnum.
Magnum cum laude.
I can't remember. It's Magnum. I think it's Magnum something. And they have all they have that. They have the for
Gear shift.
steering wheel stick shifts for gear shifts. They had the things that go on the tire, the valve stems. They have all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like different bullets and ends.
What's the name of it?
It was Magnum something. I'll have to see if I can find it. I once looked at them. It was I think it was Magnum.
I was gonna go with those spikes on the lug nuts, but
Yeah.
a lot of people do those. I want to do something different. If I could find like a bullet, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. The spike, God, what was that thing called? Magnum. I can't remember. I'll have to see if I can try to find it. But they had, they even had aerial antennas,
Mm-hmm.
like a M50 caliber.
I seen one of those yesterday on a
Yeah.
pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I can't remember what that thing was called. It'll come to me about 3. If your phone start buzzing about 3 a.m., I'm sending you a message.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So Ray, what are we going to do this week? This Sunday?
Well, yeah. Brian's gonna be my co-host on Sunday.
Yeah.
And you got a music preference? We'll start with that because we start the show with a little bit of music.
Tupac.
Do you have a music preference that I actually own?
All right, Van Halen.
Yeah, I got that.
Van Halen, yeah. I don't know, Ray. You got to find something with a lot of these bands have too long of an intro.
Well,
You got to
right.
shorten it up.
Now you see, you're learning.
Yeah.
I was gonna, one of the things I was going to use, I use it every year, is this CD here. It's called Jingle Bell Jazz.
Uh-huh.
This is Christmas songs, but they're done really, really jazzy, and it's one of my favorite. I'll listen to that all year round since the music is phenomenal. I was going to, I hadn't used it yet, so I could always do that. And then, more
Yeah.
important, are you gonna think up an honor group of the hour?
Well, that's well, I was thinking about that, and I started bouncing things around, and I was kind of like, well, let's see what direction on the show, so I don't throw something out in left field. Or
Oh,
something.
no. I don't think I don't think that's the way to do it. I think Chris always has his prepared ahead of time because he puts some thought into it. And I think that's what you should do because otherwise there may not be anything that happens beforehand that's going to inspire you, and now you
Right.
got. So, how about?
Yeah,
how
I
about-
have I
what
have three things rattling around in the old squirrel cage right now.
How about all the guys who have the balls to bust the balls on the Christmas truck? Because I tell you, the stories you get out of that are phenomenal. How guys really
I
do
tell
it.
you, man. So
I mean, that's just phenomenal.
some years it goes over without a hitch.
Yeah,
It's great. And then there's some, and it's not like I have a big turnover of guys.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not, and it's kind of funny though. It is kind of weird though. I could have a really good shop. I could have a shop that's really good, and they can get a new guy can come in, and it could kill it because he might hate Mako tools. You know what I'm saying? Or
yeah.
he might. I've had guys that in general just hate tool trucks in general. Their motive is it's all overpriced, and I can just go to Home Depot and buy a tool. You know what I'm saying? It is kind of odd though that when they get stuck in a situation and they do need a tool, especially a specialty tool, it is kind of amazing how all of a sudden now we're their friend. But I'm not going to rub that in on them. But
it's interesting you bring that up because the guy Kenny Wessel, who I started watching, I had him on the show. He's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And like I said, he did car repair videos, and he was working in a shop. And the thing that got my eye was, I mean, he was talking about a job, and he knew what he was talking about. He wasn't BSing you. But then I started, I go in levels when I vet YouTubers out, especially guys who are working on cars or motorcycles. The next thing I looked at is what kind of tools is he using? And he was using Snap-on and Matco tools. I'm like, okay, the guy's invested in his tools, and you could tell a lot of them weren't new, they were older. And then I watched the way he used them. And you can tell a guy who knows what he's doing by the way he works on something. And so I knew he passed all my tests. I said, okay, he's the real deal. And it ends up he was from up here. He was from up New York, and now he's down in North Carolina. And now he bought a house that's about an hour away from the shop he works at, and he didn't have any tools at home. So he said, listen, my work tools are my work tools. This is the problem I had. I got all my main tools at home. I started working at the shop, and it's like, well, now I need work tools at the shop.
Yeah.
If I take it from home, I don't have. So I started buying doubles of things, and a lot of stuff I was able to. A lot of times I need something that's here and it should be there, or it's there, or it should be here. But Kenny said, now for home, he says, I'm going to tell you something. He says, I don't particularly have any bad ill will against Harbor Freight. Some of their stuff is pretty good, especially the Icon stuff. So he bought a roll cart, and he bought some Harbor Freight stuff for home. And he really didn't address it the way I think he should have, because we've all used lesser level tools than our best stuff. And we all got the job done. I think once you know how to use tools and you know how to do a procedure, you can make it work.
Right.
And you can make it work with less than optimum tools, and maybe even with the wrong tools, because sometimes you got to make something work and you don't have a wrench, but you got a pair of pliers, and you just know how to do it. So I think a lot of it comes from user experience more than the tools themselves. I don't think any one wrench makes you a better mechanic. I mean,
no.
A wrench that doesn't spring open certainly is better than a wrench that doesn't spring open. But I mean, and a lot of his points are like, but guys put 3-foot breaker bars on a cheap ratchet and complain when the ratchet breaks. Listen, look at the bigger issue here. Like, it wasn't the ratchet.
Right.
That's how stuff gets bad reps. Really.
Yeah.
But
no. But like I said, it's just so funny. Or you can have a shop that you don't do anything in, and a new guy comes in there, and it could be one of your best shops, just because
Yeah.
of that type of thing. And so that's why it's funny how you go through. I tell the new guys, because they're like, oh yeah, my Wednesdays I do X amount. I said, well, that's going to change one day. Don't worry, one day you're going to say, what the hell happened, because you didn't do anything on Wednesday, but now Friday is your day, or Monday. And it's just kind of funny how it cycles and changes and goes through that. But it is funny that what you said, because I've had guys tell me, why should I pay this much for this particular tool, whatever it is, if it's a ratchet or it's like a screwdriver. You'd be surprised on how many guys will spend the money for the screwdriver just because when they've been using the cheaper ones, or the ones that they slip, you can't get a good hold on, it doesn't have a bite, and then they spend the extra money and they're like, man, this screwdriver, and there is a difference in that.
Something as simple as a screwdriver.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned the tools in the kitchen before. Most houses have a tool drawer in the kitchen. We have a little tool tray outside the kitchen, and and in it I keep a straight slot and a Phillips head screwdriver, a small hammer. I had a pair of dikes and a pair of pliers, cheapo stuff. And now I put a multi-tool in there. I threw a multi-tool in there because that's sometimes better than the pliers. But you go to that quick. I mean, I got tools in the basement, I got tools in the garage, and I'll run there. Of course, I'm going to do something quick in the house. But now it's at the point where, I mean, if I see a screwdriver that's got a rounded blade on it, it's like, just throw that fucking thing out. That isn't even a good chisel.
Well, it's funny. I'll have to take a picture up here. But in in the kitchen drawer and in Jenny's office, I noticed one day, I don't know, I guess jokingly I'd gotten her a little toolkit, and it was, I don't even think it was Craftsman. I don't know what it was, but it was like a little tool set thing, because she was always, I could never find anything. And, but as a little time went by, she's got, Mako screwdrivers in there, and I asked her, I said, what's that? I said, where did you get those? And she said, out of your toolbox. And I was like, well, why? She goes, I said, why? And she goes, well, these are far better than those pieces of shit that you bought. And I mean, she even noticed, I mean, so it's kind of funny.
No joke.
At least you got them from your drawer and not the other rep.
Right.
Yeah, well, well, actually, I have a little bit of everything in there. It's funny because the kitchen one, of course, this is way before I was selling tools. You probably have one, Ray, but it's from Snap-on. It's the ratcheting screwdriver. You take the back off, and it has the bits in.
The red handle, and it's a long shaft.
Yeah. Well, this one, I had gotten a green one because it came with a set of mugs with girls. It was a summer promo thing. It was a green handle one.
Right.
And one day, I noticed it was missing from my box, and I saw it up in the kitchen, and I said, what's this doing here? She goes, that's where that lives now.
Nice.
And she's like, because it has all, I could change the bits, I could put whatever I need. She goes, I need one. She goes, I need one of those star ones to go in, so I just loaded it up. And like I said,
it's hard time, because now with the proliferation of bits in everything, bit drivers, and I'm not a big fan of the big bit driver thing, because first of all, the kits are too big. There's too many, and they're too close together to see the difference.
Yeah,
and they're easy to lose. But I understand that they're in everything, you know.
Yeah, the bits are, it's crazy. Actually, we had a really nice one. It wasn't too big. It was a square about, I guess about that big, and the lid opened up.
Is that
But
the
it-
black one with the white, with the kind of opaque?
Right, but on the back side it had like a belt clip.
Oh,
So it was really nice to carry around, and I had that's in the kitchen. That's the extra if there's something, because it had like 30 bits in it. You know, it had a handful. But yeah, she goes, "This is where this lives now." So, and you know, that's been there. I even tried. We have the Mako one. Would the end would fold so it would be like a gun, you know, you could have it, and the gearing was a little different supposedly. Well, it would do it. I mean, you could the gearing was I think 5-1, so one turn of the handle was 5 spins of the gear.
oh, that's pretty good.
So it was fast. I mean, it was really fast, but it she didn't care for the way the handle. It didn't feel right with the Snap-on one. I tried to get my Snap-on one back, and
switch
she
it out.
Yeah, I tried. I said I tried this one. This one's really nice. And then we had one for a while that you could change the different lengths.
Ah,
And that was really nice. That was actually a gear wrench that made that. But again, it just wasn't simple. It wasn't just one screwdriver in the drawer. Now you had this whole box full of stuff, you know, and it's, you know, like I said, it wasn't supposed to take up the whole drawer. You know, it's got all the other junk in it that, you know,
right.
so
See, that's kind of where I was going when I was, what I was saying before, you know, early on, right, when I was working at this shop, it was like 6 years ago now. I didn't have as many tools as I had there now, for sure. And I kept borrowing stuff from my friend's son because he was buying all this stuff new, and he had a lot of gear wrench stuff in the beginning and other brands. And you know, I found that, hey, you know, I have a tool in my hand that isn't what I would. This tool isn't something that I would necessarily buy myself, the brand, or, you know, maybe it was a socket size that I wouldn't necessarily buy, but I got the job done, because getting the job done was more important. It was more important to know what to do and how to do it than what was actually in your hand to do it with. Then it becomes a convenience factor.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and it's funny how I think we all do it. Like, you know, you need a ratchet, and you go in your ratchet, and you usually grab the same damn ratchet every time. You know, I never had a lot of ratchets. I had a Snap-on set that was 1/4, 3/8, and a half. And those were the coarse drive, because that's all they had. And then I got that round-headed fine thread, ratchet. That became my go-to for everything I did. And even to this day, I'll still take it out. Now I have other ones in there. I got the Matco ratchets. I got, I even have an Icon ratchet in there because I had to see what it was about. And I'll still go for that same old one I used for many years. And at the shop, I have a Snap-on. I guess it's, I don't know, it's maybe a 12-inch flex head, locking flex head. And that's the one I grab all the time.
yeah. I mean, here.
Yeah. There you go.
This is a old this Snap-on one. This is one of the first ones I bought. And
That's not,
this,
yes. See, I don't like the non-locking flex.
yeah. Well, this, like I said, that I mean, I used this for years until I got my locking one from my Mako one, and it does. But I still find myself grabbing.
I bought one of those from the tool guy that it was used. Somebody traded it in, and the handle was all beat up and chewed up, looked like a dog chewed it, and the little O-ring on the screw for the flex mechanism was bad. So
Yeah, this one's got this one. Is so I mean, it's got a pin.
okay.
This
So I
one's
said,
not
well,
even.
I said, okay. I said, I'll take that used. I'll take it. I said, give me a handle. I need a replacement handle. I said, and you got a rebuild kit for the flex. And yeah, he gave me a little baggie with the screw and the O-ring. I went right into the shop. I put the handle on. I put the screw and the O-ring on, and that was like a brand new ratchet. But
Yeah.
it's not a locker. I just always like the locking flex heads better. I don't know.
Hey guys, I got to jump ship.
Okay, Lewis.
All right, Lewis.
Early start tomorrow. Hey, everybody have a safe New Year's and look forward to seeing you guys next year.
Absolutely. We will be here.
All right,
And,
stay safe.
Yeah, you do the same, Lewis. Be safe.
You know what? You might as well end the live now,
Okay.
and we'll